Hi everyone, and welcome back to round 3 of the Singapore Open here at Jurong Spring Community Set Club. Okay, that settles it once and for all. We're about to jump into our games here in round 3, which I believe we have in store for you a very exciting match between Reuven Tan and a player who has flown in to join us today all the way from Japan, whose name is Takashi Teguri. Reuven definitely quite an accomplished name. A lot of us here have become very familiar with. I don't think he's really won any fantastically big events such as a regional or an open, but he's a regular face and our Premier Challenge top cuts and
and he won like 2 PCs, and then he's actually the 2-time winner of the PC at the meta game.
yeah, I faced him in the top cut of Premier Challenges multiple times. Never really quite seen his breakout, even though he did qualify for the World Championships last year. Definitely looking forward to seeing him do a bit better this time, since I believe he still has a shot at the World Championships, even though he hasn't really been playing too much.
Yes, and Reuven is rocking a team of Tapu Koko, Mark, Paragon 2, Arcanine, Baswo, and Tapu Lele.
On Takashi's side, we see something that looks a little bit more standard with Tapu Koko, Porygon 2, Tapu Fini, Katana, Snorlax, and Arcanine. In fact, that is basically what we've come to acknowledge as the fake PG core, just with a Snorlax instead of Gigalith, which is arguably the most common variation we see so far. I'm really excited to see Reuven play because Reuven's teams are always have a trick or two up their sleeve, tending to pack very unorthodox tricks which he uses to throw his opponents off guard. And Baswo itself making an appearance here, I guess, counts as something a bit
unusual. It's also interesting
unusual.
to note that Reuven has the Baswo there, and it actually, like, Takashi should really play carefully, as Takashi actually has 3 Pokemon there that is weak to Baswo, as Porygon, Snorlax are both normal types, and Katana's a steel type.
Baswo's niche definitely lies in fighting a lot of the common mons that make up these very standard cookie cutter teams. It takes them on very well, and I believe we're going to see Reuven probably trying to lock up a Baswo endgame, or perhaps using Baswo to punch holes in Takashi's defenses early on in the game to kind of secure an advantage spot for him.
So interesting to see that Mark also worked quite well against Takashi's team, because there's, other than the Ferrium Z from the Arcanine, there's nothing really much on that team to actually cleanly kills Mark at all.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite confident that Reuven knows what he's doing in this matchup going here, but given that Takashi's team is one very standard one. Reuven definitely has thought his matchups through. Leads are probably out, but here we are. Arcanine and Tapu Fini from, I think, Takashi's side, and Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele from Reuven's side. Quite an interesting situation, you must say. You don't usually see so many Tapus out at once.
I mean, the only Tapu we're missing here is Tapu Bulu.
Which is, of course, nowhere to be seen because it's unfortunately just
not as good as the other Tapu.
Pitifully weak Tapus compared to the other 3 here.
And then
not that it's useless, but it's just difficult to use.
It's not as good. As we can see, the speed here revealed as Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele is faster on Reuven's side of the field, while Arcanine is faster than Tapu Fini on Takashi's side of the field.
I don't think that's really the position Reuven wanted to be in. Both Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele do not enjoy having their offensive presence neutered by a switch up of the terrains to Misty Terrain. Although Koko could very easily switch out here with Volt Switch, which I think Reuven is going to reveal here, since it's not going to really be picking up any significant KOs. I think it has the potential to pick up Tapu Fini should it be holding either a Choice Specs or a Z Crystal, but probably not worth sacrificing at this point.
It's also good to note that since Takashi already led with his Intimidator, Reuven's physical attackers won't get nerfed by the -1 attack from Intimidate.
Yeah. I think we can see from Takashi's lead here that he was clearly expecting Baswo to come in early, since Arcanine and Tapu Fini are 2 of his best defenses against Reuven's Baswo. And we do see Takashi switch out his Arcanine for Katana here and
to preserve the Intimidate and protecting the Tapu Fini here.
Yeah. Oh, but we do see this. Is that Guardian of Alola?
Yes, it is. Coming from the Tapu Koko. So perhaps Reuven actually running nowadays the more popular Assault Vest Tapu Koko. The Nature Madness Tapu Koko here.
It's not a Z. I think I haven't actually seen this before on stream so far. And I'm actually very curious to see if it's going to bring Tapu Fini down to 75% health even through Protects, because I'm really not sure how that works. But it's going to Katana instead. Can't have a feel that's a wasted Z move here, since Katana would have taken as much damage from Thunderbolt or...
I suppose that the sash is still broken regardless.
And yeah, it wouldn't really matter anyway because it's forced to Tapu Lele Psychic here. Classic example of a Reuven tech, really. No one saw that coming, and I hate to admit it, but I don't think it really paid its dividends here, since he didn't really gain much from revealing it. Or he didn't really do much that Thunderbolt couldn't really do it otherwise.
Arcanine does come back in, and lowering both Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele's attack to -2. However, both are special attackers, and it doesn't really matter much.
Yeah, and despite perhaps what I judged earlier as a bit of a trip up from Reuven's side, Takashi is probably still Takashi's probably feeling a lot more pressured now than he would be normally, knowing that Reuven has Nature's Madness in tow, which is the base move that enables Guardian of Alola to be used, which like I think Nature's Madness combined with a Psychic or Moonblast from Tapu Lele would actually be enough to pick off both Arcanine or Fini right now.
So, especially a fast Nature Madness from a Pokemon such as Tapu Koko, but Tapu Koko chooses to vote switch, valuing the terrain at hand, but Reuven might actually just switch out into something safer, like such as the Muk here, or even the Arcanine here to come in to nerf Takashi's Arcanine.
Volt Switch does a lot actually to Tapu Fini. Not quite sure what that could entail, since it could either mean that Tapu Fini is a bit frailer, or perhaps
the more offensive kind.
Or Reuven's Tapu Koko is modest, but we don't see Reuven trying to double into any of the slots here. Quite a bit surprising. I was thinking that he would probably try and pick up a kill, but okay. Lele taking a bit of damage from Flare Blitz, but still hanging on. And
however, Tapu Fini reveals to be the Water Realm Z from Takashi's side of the field. So both players are actually revealing their unique choices of item here.
I don't know what to say, man. I'm speechless. No Hydro Vortex here coming into I think what's gonna be the Porygon 2 slot.
Yes, it will
bit of a dud, as much as Reuven's last misfired Z move was really doing quite a significant amount of damage, but not really doing enough to give Takashi that advantageous position. Although perhaps he could double into Porygon 2 and take it out and deny Reuven's potential trick room from Reuven.
Yes, but however the Water Realm itself would actually KO the Tapu Koko here.
Yeah, probably what he was going for as well, but once again, slightly punished by a misjudged switch there. Rather by his misjudging of the switch. Rather confusing position to be in, honestly. Or perhaps because we don't really know what Reuven's last slot is.
Yes.
If it's a Muk, I guess he could set up Trick Room and he would be in a really good position. But if it's not, then Porygon 2 isn't exactly looking too useful right now in the situation. And especially with the Taunt coming off
from Takashi's side of the field, so Porygon won't be able to recover or Trick Room now. But Lele is still the fastest thing on the field right now and can easily take out the Arcanine with a Psychic, or maybe kill the Tapu Fini with a Moonblast here.
Not sure if Moonblast would do the trick, but combined with an attack for Porygon 2, I think it definitely would. And you have to imagine that Reuven's Porygon 2 has something other than Ice Beam. I think both Return, Thunderbolt, or Tri Attack would all do a lot of damage here actually, both to Arcanine and Tapu Fini.
Arcanine does withdraw here, and Takashi sent in his own Porygon 2, wanting to take the incoming attack safely. Teguri goes for the Psychic onto the Arcanine slot, and Porygon 2 takes it quite well.
Yeah, we do see Takashi reveals the Muddy Water. Good indication, I guess, of how much his Z moves is actually supposed to do, really. Since it's not running off the more powerful Hydro Pump.
Reuven's Porygon 2 does carry the Thunderbolt, which actually threatens Takashi's Tapu Fini here, as it can hit for super effective damage, and perhaps might even kill, as Takashi is running a more offensive type of Tapu Fini compared to bulkier ones.
Yeah, Reuven unfortunately calling Takashi's play that turned a bit off, since he left Tapu Fini exposed when the same combination of attacks into Tapu Fini would have taken it out. Not necessarily bad, since he did manage to get some damage off onto Porygon 2, but perhaps not really what he wanted. I think now that Reuven knows all of Takashi's Pokemon, he might be more inclined to preserve Tapu Lele a bit more, since all three of Takashi's Pokemon are down to the point where Tapu Lele would actually be able to take it out should it be under Psychic Terrain.
And Psychic Terrain will keep Tapu Lele safe from Extreme Speed from Arcanine.
Yeah, so I'm quite surprised to see Tapu Lele still on the field, but perhaps this will change this turn.
Yes, which he does, switch it out and count, and with the incoming Tapu Koko.
Gonna reset the terrain, which would boost the power of both Tapu Koko's electric attacks and Porygon 2's attack.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah, Thunderbolt. So I think we're actually gonna see Reuven here going for that Thunderbolt onto Tapu Fini.
Providing that he doesn't get an accuracy drop and missing.
Critical hit happens, but not the accuracy drop.
Fortunate, quite a fortunate, like a better situation for Reuven here, and Tapu Fini does go down to the electric terrain boosted Thunderbolt from the Porygon 2.
Quite useful information to glimpse here, knowing that Thunderbolt actually does almost 50, at least close to 50% to Tapu Fini under electric terrain. Since, I mean, it's quite clear by now that Takashi's Tapu Fini is not one of our more conventional bulky Tapu Finis, but rather one with a lot more offensive investment.
And with a Z Crystal.
Yeah, with both the Z Crystal and the amount of damage it took from those moves earlier. Reuven actually in a really great spot right now. I think he still has all 4 of his Pokemon.
Yes.
Takashi's down to his last 2, and he has the option to just bring in Tapu Lele, which at this point would be able to take out both Pokemon quite cleanly. And I can't imagine Arcanine surviving much longer here since Electric Terrain is still up. Tapu Koko is still relatively healthy. Not extreme speed carry.
Porygon 2 Taunt, it had already wore off and could recover back all his HP.
Yeah, but at this point, even if I were Reuven, I don't think Porygon 2 is that indispensable an asset in this matchup anymore.
And the match was forfeited.
Takashi realizing, I guess, that it wasn't really worth dragging on the match anymore, and he might be better off conserving a little bit of information here and there.
Pretty sure that Takashi was caught off guard by the Guardian of Alola from Reuven's side and the Thunderbolt from the Porygon 2.
Yeah, it's quite amazing to behold here that even though Guardian of Alola didn't go into the target Reuven wanted it to, the very fact that it was an option for Reuven kind of scared Takashi into playing a lot more defensively, since he couldn't afford to have any of his Pokemon exposed to a point where a Nature's Madness plus an attack from Tapu Lele would pick them off. So Nature's Madness proving to be quite an interesting choice here that's working out really well for Reuven against this team here, which is a very defensive one that relies a lot on switching and defensive synergy. Whereas when you have Nature's Madness or a move like it, like Super Fang, you tend to throw off opponents and force them to make hard reads to avoid themselves being pushed into situations where
like
Nature's Madness would pick them off.
But the thing is that Nature's Madness will miss, and Reuven technically only has one chance of hitting 100% accurate like Nature Madness onto Takashi's Pokemon, and if it's for example a Snorlax switch in, they will just proc the berry and waste the Z move effectively.
Yeah, Nature's Madness, despite how it helps take down high HP Pokemon, is not the move you want to be firing into Snorlax, rather ironically. I really wonder how Takashi is going to adapt to that though. It's not so easy to just change the way this team works or rather all of Takashi's outs rely on perhaps playing a bit more defensively in the beginning of the game and setting up for an endgame sweep. Nature's Madness and Guardian of Alola make that very difficult, so really interested to see how he chooses to switch things up.
Reuven does it with the Porygon 2 and the Muk, while Takashi sends out the Tapu Koko and the Arcanine.
Playing with probably the safest mode that this team has, Tapu Koko and Arcanine. So a whole lot of options available here to Takashi, especially if his Tapu Koko holds the Z Crystal, which is still not impossible.
Tapu Koko might also actually carry Taunt to behind the Trick Room, or Arcanine can just roll out the Porygon 2.
Yeah, or what I'm thinking really is that Takashi might be anticipating Reuven to expose his Muk this turn to kind of gather some momentum by damaging Koko. And in which case he could actually fire off a helping hand from Arcanine into
Electric Terrain boosted Electric Z move Gigavolt Havoc onto the Muk.
Yeah, I'm inclined to say Electric Z move there because I don't think a regular Thunderbolt will do the trick.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though, I'm really not sure of that calc myself since Muks these days tend to run very varied spreads as well. Just shows you how powerful this combination of Arcanine and Tapu Koko is though. It creates so many options in so many situations. And that's exactly why Arcanine and Tapu Koko are two of the most used Pokemon in this format, and are really just such an indispensable asset to this style of team that Takashi is playing. We do see the helping hand come off. What's going to come off for Koko though, I'm interested to see.
Will the Z move come off? Muk does go for the protect here, but even if it doesn't go to it goes into the Porygon, it will still do a lot of damage to Porygon
We
too.
do see Gigavolt Havoc, I think, going to come off from Tapu Koko.
So showing that Takashi is carrying both his Z move on
his two Tapus.
on his two Tapus.
None quite match up to the one on Reuven's Tapu though. Not quite the authentic Tapu, signature Z move as seen here. Gigavolt Havoc is going to go off, I think, into Muk, which thanks to the protect, I think will actually proc his berry.
Oh, not even close actually. And now Trick Room will go up, and now Tapu Koko is threatened by the poison type attack from Muk.
Reuven really calling that turn, I would say, perfectly there, because Takashi had to concentrate all his efforts into the Muk, and Reuven reading that, instead of choosing to go for the more obvious, straight and simple play, opts to protect Muk instead, setting up Trick Room and now giving him an even more advantageous position than he was in turn 1 already. Although, given that Muk is intimidated, he has to be a bit careful since Poison Jab is not going to take out Tapu Koko.
However, Muk
but he could
nowadays
very well.
also Gunk Shot, and the thing is that even at -1, Muk can also KO Tapu Fini, especially Takashi's, because Takashi is carrying a more offensive variant of Tapu Fini.
Wouldn't be too surprised to see Gunk Shot from Reuven. It would be very characteristic of him.
However, Gunk Shot will still miss, which is won't be very fortunate for Reuven.
And I believe it's not exactly a clean roll, right? It needs a
It's
rather
a clean roll on Tapu Koko, but
if Tapu Koko has a bit of investment, it might be able to tank it,
not
right?
really. Not really. Gun shot is a very powerful move with a base 120 base power.
Yeah, and okay, we've seen the Z Crystal, so I guess it's fairly safe to count on it, taking it out there. Although Coco's going to switch out into Katana, anticipating the poison attack. And we see knockoff instead onto Arcanine. Reuven once again reading Takashi like a book, I guess.
And the Mango Berry was knocked off, hinting that the Arcanine is actually more of a defense. It's a more of a defensive variant Arcanine.
Flare Blitz coming off in the Muk. I don't think that's going to take it out, and it's going to trigger Muk's Pinch Berry here, healing it back up all the way just above half. But Arcanine taking a lot of recall and generally losing a lot of HP that turn.
And with its Mango Berry knocked off, it can't heal back. Heal back with the berry.
Yeah, Takashi just losing a lot of struggling to gain any offensive momentum here while Reuven calls his plays turn after turn. Katana coming in back in now, but even then, because it took some damage on a switch in, it's in a really precarious situation since I think both Porygon 2 and Muk doubling into that slot would guarantee the KO no matter what item it runs. And I think it's probably holding a choice scarf given the team's composition, so probably feeling really pinned down right now.
Yes. Muk can also or he can just double target into the Arcanine slot and take out the Arcanine here.
Yeah, Reuven has a KO probably easily available to him. He just needs to choose one.
Yeah.
And he needs to choose correctly as well because Takashi still has all 4 of his Pokemon and has the option of switching out.
Yes, Takashi chooses switches Katana out into the Tapu Fini.
So
resetting the terrain.
Yeah, unlikely Reuven has the guts to double into that slot with a poison move really. Arcanine choosing to protect as well, so probably not going to see Reuven get the KO he was anticipating there. But we do see knockoff going to Tapu Fini, not going to do anything thanks to
the Z Crystal and Ice Beam into the Katana slot. So really reading Takashi's moves properly.
Yeah, but Reuven's still in a great spot. Muk is in a still poised to exert quite a lot of offensive pressure on both
Takashi's Pokemon are pinned down by Muk essentially, and Porygon 2 has the Thunderbolt which is not resisted by Arcanine.
Yeah, but we still don't know what poison move Muk is running actually, so this could really change the way that this game goes. If it's Gunk Shot as you mentioned, Reuven has very clear plays he needs to make, just needs to hope it doesn't miss. But with his Poison Jab he might want to conserve Muk a little bit better since Takashi switching in and out, switching Katana in and out is making things a bit difficult for him to really get that poison move off. And we've seen from the way Reuven's playing with knockoff, I think he's very clear that that's an option that he's afraid of. And Trick Room's ticking down as these turns pass as well. So Reuven
2 turns left.
Yeah, so Reuven really needs to be careful with how he chooses to maneuver his 2 Pokemon. Keeping them healthy would be very it's definitely the important it's definitely very important in securing his endgame.
And Tapu Fini Arcanine goes for it, and Gunk Shot was revealed, and it goes into the Arcanine slot, and it was a double target. So Takashi's Tapu Fini was spared from getting killed that turn, and Muk falls below 50% health, and because it has already eaten his berry, it won't be able to heal back with it.
Takashi finally making the read he needs to make the claw back into this game, causing Reuven to lose a lot of momentum and burning 1 additional turn of Trick Room. I believe this is the last turn of Trick Room Reuven has here.
Yes.
So if Takashi is able to lose his Arcanine or perhaps get Katana in back safely on the Tapu Fini slot right now, Katana will be poised to punch a lot of holes in the Reuven's team, which is probably what Takashi needs at this point to get back into this game. Reuven hasn't revealed any of the Pokemon in the back yet, and with Porygon 2 still sitting so healthy, it's gonna might be a bit difficult, but definitely possible. What Takashi really needs right now is to get Katana in back cleanly. But Reuven's gonna switch out Muk.
To preserve Muk here and sensing the Tapu Lele for more damage potential, as Tapu Lele is faster than both Katana and Tapu Fini. And while Trick Room is gonna run out this turn, making Tapu Lele faster than both of them. Thunderbolt does go into the Tapu Fini slot, doing slightly about 30%, bringing Tapu Fini to yellow health, and Muddy Water does miss.
I believe Money wasn't missing for the second consecutive time, I believe. Unfortunate for Takashi there. Although a bit hard to say how much that would actually influence the game in the long run. Interesting thing though is that Reuven isn't really free to set up Trick Room right now, since we have seen earlier that Takashi's Tapu Fini does pack a very unorthodox option of Taunt. So he's probably going to have to go on the offensive here, which is actually quite safe. I was about to mention that Tapu Fini has the Z Crystal, but at the same time we've seen that Takashi has already burned his Z Crystal on with the Gigabot Havoc early in the game.
Libate does come out for Katana, and because Tabule has already been chipped by the Muddy Water, it cleanly picks up the KO and getting itself a Beast Boost.
Yeah, but and Taunt pinning down Porygon 2 as well. Hopefully Reuven read that and went for an Ice Beam onto Katana instead.
Yeah,
Or Thunderbolt onto Tapu Fini, that works too. Is it going to take it out? Not
Tabule
quite.
survived a still of HP, but is paralyzed.
Quite a rare sight seeing Tapu Fini take a status condition here, happening because Psychic Terrain is up instead of Misty Terrain. Unfortunately, Paralysis is not exactly the status condition that would really change the flow of the things here, since as we know, the speed drop Paralysis gives has been cut this generation.
However, I mean, this does prove that Porygon 2 now will be faster than Tapu Fini.
I actually wonder about that really, given how offensive we've seen Takashi's Tapu Fini to be.
That's also true.
Yeah.
And now Baswo comes in, and this will really proves whether the paralysis matter, because Katana can't touch Baswo that much. However, if Fini does go before the Porygon 2, he might actually just Moonblast into the Baswo slot, and Baswo will take a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, Baswo definitely a Pokemon poised to take advantage of the Paralysis speed drop a lot better, since Tapu Fini could possibly outspeed it, given how strange a set we've seen this Tapu Fini is actually running. So perhaps playing out really well for Reuven in the end. And Baswo's in a great position now. It's gonna be able to pick off or at least inflict serious damage to something on Takashi's side of the field, even if Takashi chooses to switch out right now. And yeah, possibly picking up a Beast Boost if Reuven plays this right. Which means basically not playing with Superpower though, since that will kind of negate the effect of the Beast Boost.
That switches out into the Arcanine, bringing Baswo to -1 attack.
Probably the safest play to make, since you have to imagine that if Reuven chose to go to hit the Tapu Fini slot, he would have gone for either Poison Jab or Ice Punch. Katana going for another Leaf Blade, which actually at this point is going to be a Twig KO on Katana. And we see Reuven unveiling his Beast Boost.
All pummeling onto presumably the actually either one of the slot will be fine, as it might anticipate the Arcanine switch in, which Takashi did, or onto the Katana, which is onto Katana, and he didn't want the superpower because he don't want to drop the attack of Katana, and now with the Beast Boost bringing Baswo back to neutral attack.
Calling this turn right, definitely gaining Reuven a lot of momentum. If he had gone for a move into the Tapu Fini slot, probably Poison Jab or Ice Punch, that wouldn't have worked out as well. But now that you think about it, no real reason not to, since he did choose to take care of the Tapu Fini slot with a Thunderbolt from Porygon 2.
And taking out the +1 Beast Boost Katana that turn.
Yeah. So Baswo back at neutral attack now, and I think Takashi is pinned down to his... Oh, he's only lost 1 mon so far. Still relatively advantageous position for Takashi, although he has to be careful. Still relatively advantageous position for Reuven, though he has to be a bit careful of Tapu Koko now, since it's going to be able to inflict quite a lot of damage onto Baswo. Baswo's special defense isn't exactly the highest. And Porygon 2 is actually in quite a precarious situation right now, having taken so much damage early on in the game. With Mark in the back, I guess he is still relatively safe. So I think what Reuven really wants now is to take out Arcanine. Yeah.
Perhaps right now, but the thing is that Porygon 2 has already been torn and is unable to recover or go for the Trick Room. As the Dazzling Gleam comes out, and it just shows how especially weak Baswo is. However, Porygon 2 does take the Flare Blitz, and Baswo reveals the Earthquake, which takes out his own Porygon 2 and the Arcanine.
That was not what I was expecting to see, and it's although it's a fantastic turn to watch play out here, I'm not actually sure whether that's enough for Reuven to pull this game around. He has lost his Porygon 2, and he's going to bring in a Muk at reduced HP to face off against a very speedy Tapu Koko.
This could actually go down to the damage rolls, because a Dazzling Gleam will definitely take out the Baswo, but will it take out Muk? And if Muk manages to kill the Tapu Koko, and Tapu Fini does get paralyzed this turn, Muk will just easily clean up the game. However, but Reuven has to get lucky for it to be more favorable for him.
I, on the other hand, think Takashi's play here is very clear cut. He should just go for the Dazzling Gleam, which would secure the KO on the Buzzwole probably, and fire off. I think he should have Moonblast on his Tapu Fini. I don't recall have ruling that out. If he has Moonblast, he should just fire it off into the map, and I think that would be a guaranteed KO right now at this point.
But he needs to get past the paralysis.
Oh, that's true. And oh yeah, Mark might actually be faster than Tapu Fini now at this point. So
actually the paralysis does matter after all.
Yeah, especially coming to Mark. Reuven here panicking, you can see going down to the last second. But we see Tapu Koko go for the protect instead. I guess anticipating Reuven to pull out a protect of his own, which he does with Buzzwole. Rightly so, I guess that was probably the best play he could make. And we see it is faster, but avoids the gun shot.
Avoids the Tapu Fini. Unfortunate for Reuven there.
Did he really need to go for the gun shot though that turn? He could have gone for the knockoff, I believe, into Tapu Fini since its HP was so low.
Yeah. But was it the Tapu Fini or the...
Given that it avoided the attack, I would say it's the Tapu Fini, since otherwise it would have shown a different message. Really unfortunate there, but kind of can't help but believe that Reuven brought that onto himself by misplaying there slightly. Yeah.
So a very intense set by both players.
Yeah, close set really. You can see the relief on Takashi's face earlier when
the gunshot
came out into the screen really.
And now Reuven Takashi can clean the field with Dazzling Gleam.
Bit unfortunate for Reuven there, having to perhaps waste a game this way, since he revealed quite a lot of information in this set, and you know, part of his advantage came down to the fact that he got the paralysis off from Thunderbolt, which he can't exactly replicate with certainty going into a game 3. But still, kind of I feel like Reuven held the upper hand throughout this entire game. I don't think he should be feeling too disheartened, knowing that he has to play another game here in this matchup, which he seems to be in quite a comfortable position in here.
Since now that we know Reuven does have options to counter with Takashi's team, Takashi really needs to think deep and I predict what kind of Pokemon to bring up against Reuven's team, against his Nature Power or his Mark or even Buzzwole at this point.
I think so far Takashi has recognized that his optimal options include playing the faster mode of his team, given how many options Reuven has to shut down Snorlax in the form of Mark, in the form of Buzzwole as well, especially since Buzzwole is holding a Z Crystal. So probably just gonna have to bring those 4 again and hope for the best, since we have seen that the only reason he really faltered in game 2 was because Reuven outread him. It's very possible that perhaps if he played slightly differently, he would have seized a lot more momentum in the first 2 turns of the game, and he would have ended the game in a much more favorable position, not having to hope for the bout of irrationality we saw earlier, really.
And now we can see both players putting like deep thoughts into their team selection here, and you will really wonder what kind of set will Reuven bring, like what kind of Pokemon he will bring. Like, will it be the Nature Magnus, as it proved in turn 1 to be very quick to get rid of Takashi's Pokemon, or the slower Mark?
Yeah, both options definitely viable. They've shown their worth in the last few turns we've seen here. Imagine the choice for Reuven is really just picking one over the other. Perhaps he'll be a bit more confident in the second one, since that offers him a bit more flexibility and relies less on surprise. But instead, I think we see a completely new combination in Arcanine and Porygon 2. With
Takashi with Tapu Koko and Katana.
Very good read from Reuven there once again, actually. Arcanine leading into the situation, putting it in a fantastic position, since it weakens Katana and forces Tapu Koko to kind of push a bit harder with the Z move if it wants to get anything done.
And Porygon 2 does get a special attack here, which will boost both its Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, and especially the Thunderbolt because the electric terrain is up.
Yeah, not what Takashi wants to see, since he has a Katana on the field, since both Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, thanks to the electric terrain, are gonna be doing a lot of damage to Katana should Reuven choose to push for that at any point.
Especially when you mentioned that it is Scarf, Thunderbolt can just cleanly picks up the Katana KO here.
I'm not sure if we've actually seen confirmation that it's Scarf, but I'm highly inclined to believe so, given Takashi's team composition, and Reuven is probably going to be playing it such, assuming that it's going to be locked in the Leaf Blade, since we did kind of see it just go for Leaf Blade over and over last game. Can't imagine Reuven exposing Arcanine too much this turn, since he's going to need to preserve it for the Katana.
Yes, Takashi does withdraws the Katana and sends in the Tapu Fini, resetting the terrain and weakening the Thunderbolt Ice Beam damage output from Porygon 2, but still with the +1 special attack, it's still quite early to say that Like Fini will still take a lot of damage if Thunderbolt were to go onto the Katana slot.
Takashi making here one of the very classic textbook plays that make this team what so strong as it is. Really, the ability for Coco to just vote switch out and kind of scout the field before deciding what to bring in, and combined with a team with very strong defensive synergy, it makes for a lot of plays possible, like we see here. Takashi really, I think, playing this turn out really well here, since he hasn't really lost much at all. Just taking a bit of damage on his Arcanine and getting an Intimidate off onto Reuven's own Arcanine.
Porygon 2 just go for the Trick Room here, making it the slowest thing on the field, and can go for the offensive options that it carries onto both Takashi's Pokemon. Arcanine right now, as this is the first time we have seen Reuven's Arcanine, we are not sure that which Arcanine is actually the slower one, and we'll see who outspeed each other.
Pretty good position for Reuven to bring in Muk here over Arcanine, especially since he probably wants to conserve Arcanine a bit more, but looks like we're going to see a Protect from him instead. Gonna guess Porygon 2 is going to go for Thunderbolt onto Tapu Fini. Are we going to see it? Yep, it does, and
which will do over 50% thanks to the +1 special attack boost. Hydro Vortex does go into presumably the Arcanine slot for super effective damage, but since Arcanine protected, it will only take 25% of its original damage.
It's gonna do it's not gonna do too much damage to the Arcanine, but at the same time, kind of a feel that it's probably more than Reuven really wants to take here. Although I guess on hindsight now, recognizing that Hydro Vortex was an issue, he probably played it as optimally as he could by going for the Protect there.
But Takashi's Arcanine does reveal the Snarl, which will bring Porygon 2 back to neutral special attack, and because of it, Arcanine is the Mago variant, so it won't go down that easily, and it will be able free to fire off Snarl onto Porygon 2, lowering its special attack all the way to the point where Porygon 2 offensive. Porygon 2 is not an offensive pressure at all.
Yeah, Takashi revealing Snarl makes Reuven's Porygon 2 a lot less of a threat, since Porygon 2 isn't exactly given the free reign that it seemed to have last turn, sitting up right now in Trick Room with a powerful Thunderbolt under its belt. And Reuven recognizing that, switching out his Porygon 2, bringing in his Muk instead. I guess that's probably the safest slot to switch into, since you imagine that should Takashi not choose to go for Snarl, he'd be firing off an attack into Arcanine instead of Porygon 2. But Reuven chooses to switch in Basuo as well over the Arcanine. Yeah, confident that Takashi will go for Snarl, I guess, which he does go for, and putting Reuven in a fantastic position actually.
As now, as Basuo now threatens the Katana, and Muk will punish any switchers from that slot, because both Takashi's Pokemon at the back are both the Fairy type.
Takashi's Katana looks really vulnerable here, but at the same time, I'm not sure if Reuven is able to secure the knockout on the Arcanine without actually doubling into that slot, since I'm not sure whether Muk's Skunk Shot or anything that Muk can have would be enough to bring it down at this range.
Sorry?
I'm not sure whether Muk will be able to bring down Arcanine's knockout Arcanine at this point, given how much
pretty sure
HP
that
has left.
A Z move from Basuo will take out the Arcanine.
Yeah, but that will involve exposing Katana probably, which could work out, I guess, since. But at the same time, that kind of exposes the possibility for a free switch in. Okay, we do see Arcanine retreat and Tapu Fini coming back in. I guess at this point, hoping that.
However, Reuven predicting it wrongly and Gang Shots into the Katana.
And I think we're gonna see Reuven fire off his fighting type Z move, all out pummeling into what was originally the Arcanine, which is gonna be now the Tapu Fini. Not actually sure whether that will knock out, since Tapu Fini has taken a lot of damage earlier.
It goes into the Katana, no, but it will be going on Tapu Fini, but Tapu Fini was severely chipped and it will die to the all-out pummeling and will raise its attack by 1.
Doing enough, giving Reuven a lot of momentum then for what could have potentially ended up being a rather disastrous turn.
Yes, and Smart Strike does go into the Muk, which won't do a lot, and which will do about 40% and procs Muk's berry.
I think we're gonna see Takashi bring back Arcanine in right now to kind of neuter the Beast Boost, but at the same time, Katana
is still threatened.
Doesn't really change the position much, since Katana is still gonna be equally vulnerable.
Especially if, as Katana is choice and won't be able to protect itself, which would make Takashi opt to switch here, but Reuven will be able to punish it by double targeting into that slot.
I think Reuven's gonna have to bring in either Arcanine or Porygon 2 soon, since Trick Room is wearing out, and exposing Basuo at this point would be a bit dangerous. he has a pretty good position. He just needs to maintain it, but there is still the possibility that Takashi is gonna be able to seize control of the game again, since he still has a lot of options under his belt here with Trick Room expiring soon. I don't think we've seen Trick Room expire yet, right? I haven't seen the message. If it's one more turn, that's definitely enough for Takashi to kind of turn things around by playing Arcanine intelligently here.
Tapu Koko does come in here, and you will assume that Takashi want to switch out the Katana into the Arcanine as like to render to nerf both Baswo and Mark's attack. However, a gun shot from Mark will still take care of Tapu Koko, providing that it doesn't miss like the second game.
I was actually expecting Arcanine to come in earlier, given that that would pressure Baswo a lot harder. So probably gonna see Takashi go on the defensive this turn, protecting Koko, and then bringing in Arcanine, which would put him in a more advantageous situation next turn. If I were Takashi, I think I would be really regretting having burned a Hydro Vortex early in the game for
To protect the Arcanine.
yeah, relatively little outcome, since right now he's probably wishing he had Gigavolt Havoc active still on Tapu Koko for the offensive pressure provide next turn. Okay, we do see Arcanine come back in as expected. Probably going to see the Protect as well. That would be probably the best play he can make in this situation, but no!
Oh, but Gunshot misses the Tapu Koko again, and very unfortunate there for Reuven. But even at -1 attack, Baswo still does a lot of damage to the Arcanine. However, it does proc the Margot Berry, bring it all the way back to relative health.
Baswo probably doing a bit too much there, you know, or rather much more than Reuven would have wanted, really. And
now
because he went so hard that turn, he's kind of in a terrible situation now with both Mark and Baswo vulnerable, forcing him to play catch up right now, and with Trick Room expired as well.
It was very unfortunate that the gunshot missed. If the gunshot didn't miss, Tapu Koko would have went down.
Yeah, but I guess that's part and parcel of playing with gunshot, really, since the added power comes with the cost of
added
accuracy.
risk.
Yeah. Some players reason that gunshot's additional power kind of justifies it, since Poison Jab wouldn't be able to would take 2 turns to pick up the same knockout that gunshot would be able to pick off in one, kind of compensating for the chance that it misses. But in situations like this, you see that Reuven really needed the attack to hit, and unfortunately, because it didn't, I think twice in this set so far, he's been having to play from a much worse position. Yeah, we do see Baswo fall, which although probably not too significant in the long run, since all it really helps very much against would be Takashi's Katana, which Reuven still has Arcanine for.
And now Gunshot finally connects onto the Tapu Koko and bring Tapu Koko down, which would have been a lot more better if it was the last turn.
But this is great still, because Takashi is forced to bring in Katana right now, and Reuven can bring in his Arcanine,
and
locking
could
it in.
shuffling the Intimidate if he wants to.
Yeah, having the option to switch Arcanine in and out a bit more here is definitely great for him. Although Arcanine has taken a lot of damage to the point where having to play with critical hits would be very risky here. Okay, so it looks like Takashi's Arcanine isn't exactly in extreme speed KO range yet, I think.
No. But however, Takashi can go for the Helping Hand Smart Strike onto the mark and pick up a base boost, but risking the fact that Reuven's Arcanine can Flare Blades into his Katana.
I think that's actually relatively low risk in Reuven just going for the Flare Blitz here, but
Reuven chooses to shuffle the Intimidate.
If the Helping Hand Smart Strike play comes off now, this could be disastrous for Reuven actually.
But you will assume that Mark will go for the Protect this turn.
Yeah, we do see the Helping Hand come off. Is Reuven going to go for the Protect, or is he going to call it? Is he going to go for the Protect? Fortunately, he does go for the Protect. Yeah, putting him in a great position here. Since
but he does go for the Secret Sword onto the Predicted Porygon 2 switch in.
Not enough to KO regardless though.
Oh, but that was a very good read from Takashi's side. However, it wasn't enough.
At the same time, Reuven not exactly being, you know, in an ideal situation now, since Mark isn't exactly going to be doing enough right now, I think, with knockoff to KO Arcanine, since the berry has been consumed already.
Yes.
So we're probably going to have to see him gamble on a gun shot onto Arcanine to actually get anything done with Mark right now.
I would say he would.
Not really what you want to do.
Yeah.
Porygon 2's taken too much damage to really feel safe in here, as we do see it switching out for Arcanine. I guess that does give him enough leeway to gamble with Gun Shot or go for the weaker knockoff.
We shall see.
Helping Hand coming off again.
Comes out again.
Yeah. Are we gonna see smarts? It has to be Sacred Sword, right? Because he's locked in. So Sacred Sword gonna come off
onto the Arcanine slot, taking it relatively okay. Gun Shot does hit onto the Arcanine slot and taking out the Arcanine once and for all.
Yeah, and with Takashi locked into a Katana with Sacred Sword and Reuven still having you know, Porygon 2 in the back allowing his Arcanine to switch out a bit more. I think that's pretty much the set for him.
Yes.
Although, frankly, I think it's a matchup that should have been decided quite a while ago had Reuven chosen not to you know, go for the gunk shot instead of the knockoff
And
that turn, which was a misplay that he really shouldn't have made at that point.
Yeah.
Still an interesting set, and it's always interesting to see Reuven play because of how many interesting techs he tends to bring to the field.
Especially against an opponent of Takashi's caliber, it's really a really intense set between these two players.
Yeah, a good example of how you know, innovating is very important in VGC, since it's
and the match was
these little techs like these which tend to decide high-level games.
Yes.
Yeah. So congratulations on Reuven with that match. Very well played overall, despite the minor slip up.
Yeah, and
I'm pretty sure the high-level plays he made otherwise, and definitely compensate for that. And unfortunate there, Gang Shot proving why, or rather showing its downsides.
And its upper side in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's the trade-offs like you mentioned before earlier, that you trade accuracy for power, and that.
Fortunately, we don't get to see Hydro Vortex on Takashi's Tapu Fini really paying its dividends here. Would be really curious to see what that was meant for, but guess we're not going to be able to. And I think we're going to be jumping into the next round very shortly because of how long the set took, and we won't be bringing you a play interview unfortunately. But do stay tuned and to see what exciting games we have up next for you.